Can Pauper Cyclestrom survive in a graveyard-centric metagame? Today, we're going to find out. In front of you is Pauper Cyclestrom. The idea is that you want to use cycling creatures, such as imposing Vantasaur, to churn through your library. Eventually, you'll draw things like Songs of the Damned to make a bunch of mana with all those creatures you put to the graveyard. You'll then return them using Reaping the Graves after you've created a sufficient enough storm count, and then you play Drannith Stinger and start pinging your opponents out of the game. This deck has not changed in quite a bit, and it's my default Pauper deck. It's my favorite deck in the format, and over the last few months, I have not been recording the deck, and a lot of people have been asking me for updates. Well, the truth of the matter is there's no updates to be had. I think that the deck list is actually solved. It is perfect for Pauper as is, but I have made one little tweak in the sideboard, but I don't think it's actually very impactful. We're playing 2 copies of Fairy Macabre in the sideboard for the spy combo decks of the format. Pauper Cyclestrom is the faster deck in the format, and you would be okay just racing. I don't think you actually need a sideboard, but a lot of these decks have things like Mesmeric Fiend in the sideboard that could theoretically trip you up. So we are playing 2 copies of Fairy Macabre over the 3rd copy of Siege Smash and the 2nd copy of Dahada's Ploy. I've never loved double Dahada's Ploy because I think that Rowan's Grim Search does such a great job in every matchup, including Burn, at filling up your graveyard but also helping you stay consistent. And I've always felt like cutting 2 of them was a little dangerous. So we're going down to 1 Dahada's Ploy in the sideboard, and we're going down to 2 Siege Smash to fit in 2 copies of Fairy Macabre. That's it. And the big question today is this deck good enough in a graveyard-centric metagame? With Spy being at the top of the format, a lot of people are packing graveyard hate right now. That said, a lot of it is Fairy Macabres, and if you have to beat any sort of graveyard hate with Pauper Cyclestrom, you'd pray that it was Fairy Macabre. Like, if you had to pick a list of things that your opponent could play in order to beat you, Fairy Macabre would be it. Like, it's not Nile Spellbomb, it's not Relic of Progenitus. This is the card that you would prefer that they have, and the Spy deck encourages people to play Fairy Macabre. So I think that it's actually a benefit to Pauper Cyclestrom that people are playing Fairy Macabre in the sideboard right now. Let's see if I'm right. Let's hop on into the matches, and I'll see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Match number 1, and we're facing fellow Pauper Stormer Cosmic Charles. We are on the play. Cosmic Charles has been playing a lot of Ruby Storm. I don't know what they're playing today, but I think that this hand is a keep. Alright, let's begin. Play our Barrenmore, pass the turn. Cosmic Charles took a mulligan to 5. Tranquil Cove, so not Pauper Ruby Storm, maybe Familiars? I know that Kalikais has been playing a Familiars build with 3 main deck copies of Foil, but I don't think that deck is playing Tranquil Cove. We draw another Barrenmore. I will cycle the Street Wraith. I think... You know what? I will play the Barrenmore. I was thinking about cycling it, but if I play it out, I am a little bit closer to casting Rowan's Grim Search, Bargain the Lotus Petal, and I think I'd rather do that. Spreading Seas. Sure, you've got it. Not quite sure what they're up to today, but, you know, no big deal. Cabal Ritual. Play the Lotus Petal. Dark Ritual. And then I'm going to float a black and play the Rowan's Grim Search. I think I want the Songs of the Damned. And then, do I take the Great Furnace? Great Furnace would allow me to cast Cabal Ritual with Threshold. So I think we do that. Play the Cabal Ritual. Do I actually want to win here? You know what? Let's just do it. Reaping the Graves. There's only 4 creatures in the graveyard, but I think we have enough resources where I can probably win here. Return the pair of Street Wraiths and then cycle them. Imposing Vantasaur. Lotus Petal will cycle this Imposing Vantasaur. Into Drannith Healer, we'll cycle the Healer. Another Rowan's Grim Search. We will continue to cycle here. Another Rowan's Grim Search. And now the Drannith Stinger will return. We'll cycle that into another healer. We'll cycle the healer, play the Lotus Petal, cast the Songs of the Damned for 7. And then I would like to Rowan's Grim Search with the bargain, sacrificing that Great Furnace. Only 4 mana floating. And we had double Songs of the Damned. I'm pretty sure this game is locked up at this point. Okay. We'll cycle the Drannith Healer. Cycle Drannith Stinger. Okay. Play Songs of the Damned. And then I'm going to cast the Rowan's Grim Search without the bargain. A lot of people get too fixated on the fact that you can bargain. You don't have to. We'll cycle the Street Wraith. Play out the Lotus Petal. Play Songs of the Damned, and now Reaping the Graves. We are at 6 life here, and our opponent just concedes. I have no idea what they're playing. I really don't. But it looks like it's blue, so I think against blue decks we would like the Chitin Gravestalker, and likely the Pyroblasts. Cut a couple copies of Rowan's Grim Search. I won't lie to you, I just had to look up my sideboard guide because I forgot. I did update the sideboard guide recently, so if you're interested, go to theepicstorm.com/shop and you can find all of the updates there. But I had to look up what the changes were because I just could not remember. So against blue decks, we get rid of the Repository Scob and the Blood Celebrant, and then 2 copies of Cabal Ritual. I do update my sideboard guides at the start of every single month. So as I record this, it's August 25th. And I updated them at the beginning of August. So by the time this goes live, there will be a new update for September. This hand is obviously a keep. They play the Tranquil Cove once again. We'll play the Vault of Whispers. I love the Chitin Gravestalker draw. In theory, depending on what our opponent does, we could try to jam a turn 2 Chitin Gravestalker. And it looks like they're going to just pass. We'll cycle the Imposing Vantasaur into another Dark Ritual. Cycle the Drannith Healer. And I can play out the Barrenmore if I miss on an untapped land, and I do. So we'll play Barrenmore and send it back. They cycle an Ash Barrens for a basic Plains. Still not sure what they're playing. It could be Familiars, I don't know. Reaping the Graves, we'll cycle the Drannith Healer. Cycle Street Wraith. We hit our land. I think I'll pass the turn here. Omen of the Sea. I have no idea what they're playing, I really don't. I guess this is a blue permanent for Abjure. The 1 blue sacrifice a blue permanent counter target spell. So that's probably why they're playing this. Radiant Fountain. Is this the deck just to beat Burn? I just don't know what's going on here. Dust to Dust. I would like to cast Dark Ritual. And then Rowan's Grim Search, sacrificing the Vault of Whispers. They Dispel. I will Pyroblast. Counter your Dispel. Rowan's Grim Search. We'll take the Cabal Ritual and the Lotus Petal. The Dust to Dust can now resolve, and on our turn, we're going to try to do some broken stuff. Alright, let's play the Dark Ritual. Play Cabal Ritual with Threshold. Play the Lotus Petal. I would like to play a Chitin Gravestalker here. Storm is 4. Would be 5 with the Reaping the Graves. We do have 5 creatures to return here. I'll cycle a Healer. Ooh, Street Wraith, that was a good one. Cycle. I'll play Reaping the Graves. Stinger on the bottom. So drawing another Street Wraith here gave me an opportunity to draw into Rituals to potentially win this turn. I don't know if we will, but it keeps that option open. So now we'll cycle Street Wraith. Land. Cycle Street Wraith. Horror of the Broken Lands, we'll cycle that. Okay, I don't think I'm winning this turn, but I don't mind the position we're in. It seems decent to me. Cycle the Vantasaur. We'll pass. Another Dust to Dust. You're becoming a bully. Alright, we'll cycle the Imposing Vantasaur. And they exile 1 Great Furnace. And now they cycle a Lorien Revealed. That's interesting, because I would have thought that they would like to play that next turn. Like, they're at 23 life. Like, they have some time against my Chitin Gravestalker. We'll attack for 5. Let's cycle the Monstrous Carabid. Pass the turn. Or Skyfisher. So they're a Cryogenic Relic deck. Okay. Now they replay Omen of the Sea. We've seen almost 50% of my deck, and we have not found a Songs of the Damned, which is a card we definitely want. They play another Radiant Fountain, back up to 20 life. We draw another Drannith Stinger. We will attack. Cycle the Imposing Vantasaur. There's our Songs, but I don't think it's a wise idea to play it into counter magic here, so we'll just pass the turn. Dreamstalker. Okay. They pick up that Omen of the Sea again. And now they attack. Ouch. I go to 8. I dealt myself a lot of damage to this game. Dark Ritual, not a terrible draw. We know that they're sitting on an Omen of the Sea, so I'm not sure if what I'm supposed to do here. Sure, they're going to flicker my Chitin Gravestalker. Let's try a Dark Ritual. Dispel. They have 2 cards remaining in their hand. If you have another Dispel, I think you've earned it. We'll play Songs of the Damned. That resolves. Cycle Drannith Healer. Horror of the Broken Lands, we'll cycle that. Cycle another Drannith Healer. Cycle the Monstrous Carabid. 5 mana floating after this. We have all 4 copies of Drannith Stinger in hand. Another Songs of the Damned. We'll cycle Stinger. Let's play Songs here. We have 2 mana floating, so I wouldn't lose to a Spell Pierce. You could cycle down further, but you risk losing when you don't need to. I'll cycle Drannith Stinger. We hit the Reaping the Graves. I do not have a Blood Celebrant in my deck, so we have to keep that in mind. Cycle the Barrenmoor. Cycle Monstrous Carabid. We'll play the Chitin Gravestalker. Reaping the Graves. Storm's 8. Return Drannith Healer. Healer. Street Wraiths. Stinger, Stinger, Stinger. So I've used 2 Lotus Petals and I have 1 in play. So our opponent could have a Hydroblast, and that's one of the few things I could lose to. So I think I'm actually going to play out a Healer here. And then we'll cycle and gain some life. So that way there's no chance that they can beat me to death before I eventually kill them with Chitin Gravestalkers. Cycle the other Healer here. I'll go up to 10. Each Street Wraith cycle is only 1 life now because of the Drannith Healer. There's a Dark Ritual. We'll cycle. Cycle. No Vault of Whispers yet. Vault of Whispers. Great Furnace is what I meant to say. Now we'll play a Drannith Stinger. It resolves. Cycle the Barrenmoor. So now they'll go to 14. We draw another land. Cycle. Brings me up to 9. They're at 13. Songs of the Damned. We'll play it. 17 mana. Cycle a Stinger. There should be another Reaping the Graves left in the deck, so I believe we're going to win this turn. Rowan's Grim Search with the bargain. Sacrifice the Great Furnace. Ooh. Let me double check to make sure there's another Reaping. 1, 2. We have 2 in there. I guess I don't need the Songs of the Damned, so I'm going to say no to all of them. That was not great. So there's 2 Reaping the Graves in the bottom 4 cards of my deck. I'll cycle. I'm going to end up at 7. Alright, so we'll cycle the Chitin Gravestalker. I believe I'm guaranteed to hit here. Well, I shouldn't say guaranteed. There's 3 cards, so one of them could not be it. And we did hit. So now we'll play the Reaping the Graves. Return the Chitin Gravestalker. Our opponent says GG's opponent, and we win match number 1. All right, well, that was fun. Let's see if we can get the next 4. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match number 2, we're facing Cornetto, who I know plays Cycle Storm. I don't know if that's what they're playing today, but this could be a mirror match. We'll find out. No, it is not a mirror match. Okay. So this looks like it could be Turbo Fog. They played the Black Gate, and then they made green mana. There is a Golgari-esque Turbo Fog deck that splashes blue. This time they chose red. Interesting. We will cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. Repository Scob. Play the other Vault of Whispers and we'll pass. Town Greeter. Is this Dredge? Not quite sure what they're up to yet. They return to Forest. End step, we will cycle Monstrous Carabid and Imposing Vantasaur. Okay, we're looking for a 3rd untapped land. We'd find it. And I'll pass. So I'm not saying that we're definitely going to try to win next turn, but it's something we could start to think about. They cycle a Generous Ent from hand for another forest. They play that forest. Rumble into more cards we've already seen. Sure. They chose Basic Forest off the Rumble. This does look like Dredge. Okay. Or at least what I believe is dredge. I'm not actually sure. So far, it's just a lot of self-mill and basic forests. They swing for 1. Ouch. End step will cycle the monstrous Carabid. Rowan's Grim Search will cycle the monstrous Carabid. Cabal Ritual and this Drannith Stinger. Okay, I think we're ready to go. We'll cycle Street Wraith, Dark Ritual, cycle the imposing Vantasaur. We'll play Cabal Ritual. Let's Rowan's Grim Search here. Sacrifice the tapped Vault of Whispers. We'll take the Reaping the Graves and Lotus Petal. You might be saying, why take Lotus Petal? Primarily for Storm. Whoa! I must have clicked the wrong cards here. Reaping the Graves, Lotus Petal. Oh no, I guess I did do it right. For some reason, I think they're playing cards with Graveyard Order Matters, so that's why it gave me that window. Alright, so we'll cycle the Drannith Healer. Cycle the Healer again. Cycle Street Wraith down to 13. We'll play Songs of the Damned for a boatload of mana. Cycle the Stinger. Play the Great Furnace. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Cycle the Barrenmoor. Another Rowan's Grim Search. Don't mind if I do. We'll cast that, sacrifice the Vault of Whispers. I'll take a pair of Dark Rituals. Okay. Any order. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. We'll make a blue mana. Play the Repository Scob. Exploit. Return the Songs of the Damned. Cast it. Slide up my graveyard here so I can see everything. And now we'll play Reaping the Graves, returning the Repository Scob. And we have enough here to win the game. I wasn't paying attention. I should have returned the 3rd Stinger, but we're currently only returning 2. Not the end of the world. We still have plenty of resources to win here, but I should have returned the other one. That's just my bad. So now we'll play a Stinger, play another Stinger, and they concede. Okay. So that was a pretty easy win. I think that they're dredge. I could be wrong. So if they are dredge, I would like the Fairy Macabres. The sideboard guide says 1 imposing Vantasaur and 1 Rowan's Grim Search. Past Bryant was definitely smarter than current Bryant because he was more in tune with Pauper when he built the sideboard guide, so I'm going to trust him. Alright, this seems fine enough to me. Keep. First turn, Holdout Settlement. I think we'll play the Vault of Whispers. If they destroy it, it's a little bit of a feel bad, but the Barrenmoor, I'd like to potentially cycle later in case I draw into more lands off of my initial few cycles. Alright, so they cycle the Generous Ent for a basic forest. Scrapwork Mutt. This does look like dredge. Okay, they dredge Stinkweed Imp and then a Dread Returner in the graveyard. And step we will cycle the Drannith Stinger here, Lotus Petal. I think I'm actually going to cycle the Barrenmoor. The question is, do I want to play Street Wraith into a potential Bazooka Bog? Because like these decks do play like 1 to 2 Bazooka Bogs. So I think I want to wait until the end step and I'll just lose a Storm here and play out the Lotus Petal. So now they can dredge the Stinkweed Imp. Ancient Grudge. They go after my Vault of Whispers. Sure. Branchwood Prowler. They swing, I'll go to 18. End step will cycle Street Wraith. Into another Barrenmoor, cycle Street Wraith. Another Barrenmoor. Vault of Whispers. I will continue to just pass. I'm a little bit worried about a Bazooka Bog here for 3. Because I want those Street Wraiths. But there's not a whole lot I can do about it. I kind of just had to expose them. They attack. Ouch. I'm at 11. They play a Rumble. Another Ancient Grudge and the Lotleth Giant. So they can destroy my Vault of Whispers here. And then they get a Eldrazi spawn token that they can then sacrifice to Dread Return. But I'm holding the Fairy Macabre. So not the end of the world. They play another copy of Holdout Settlement. Scrapwork Mutt. They discard a card and dredge. And now they're going to Dread Return. I'll use the Fairy Macabre on the Lotleth Giant and... do I want to do the other Dread Return? I think so. I don't think I care as much about the Ancient Grudge. So now Dread Return will fizzle. End step will cycle the Drannith Healer. 5 creatures now in our graveyard. Dark Ritual's the draw. Do you have your own Fairy Macabre? Is that why you're pausing here? Reaping the Graves. Let's cast Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. That was an F6. Okay. Cycle the Drannith Stinger. Play the Lotus Petal. We'll cycle Barrenmoor. Rowan's Grim Search. I will bargain. Sacrifice the Vault of Whispers. We'll take the Cabal Ritual. And Lotus Petal. We'll play the Lotus Petal. Play Songs of the Damned for only 6 here. Cabal Ritual. And Reaping the Graves. Fairy Macabre on the bottom. I think I'm not going to cycle with anything on the stack base. I think I'm going to end up playing out some of these creatures. I'm at 9. Play a Stinger. Play a Stinger. Play Blood Celebrant. Make a white. Play a Healer. And now each cycle will deal 2 and gain 1. I don't think I'm winning the game right now. I think I'm just like setting myself up to potentially win. Cabal Ritual that we can't cast. Cycle. I'm at 6. Cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. I'm now at 7. Okay. Pass the turn. They play the Blanchwood Prowler. It's another Ancient Grudge and a Stinkweed Imp. And now they're attempting to unearth the Scrapwork Mutt. I don't know if I care. I think I'm supposed to let this go. So they discard the Stinkweed Imp, and now they dredge. Momentary Blink. Okay. They play another Gate. They swing. I can block with the Blood Celebrant. It did its job. They're at 14. Another Fairy Macabre. I think we swing. They block a Drannith Stinger. They're at 10. Both Fairy Macabre and exile Scrapwork Mutt and Scrapwork Mutt. They still have a Stinkweed Imp in the graveyard. But I'm pretty sure they have one in hand that they can just cast as a potential blocker too. So I'm not going to use the other Fairy Macabre. And there it is. They play another land. They have 2 cards. Cabal Ritual, that doesn't help me. I think I just have to pass here. So looking at my graveyard, I've gone through 3 Vault of Whispers and 3 Lotus Petals and 3 Barrenmoor. So I'm actually really light on black mana, which is a concern. They cast another Stinkweed Imp. And another. Okay. They have 1 card left. So I am dead in 2 attacks. So I need to draw out of this pretty quickly. Things are not looking good. We have to pass. There's a chance that my mini combo that I thought would have been good enough was not. So they can attack for 3 here and then Dread Return, and that might buy me some time. Yeah, I'll go to 3. I think the greedy play here is to Dread Return. I think the safe play is honestly just leave your stuff in play, but we'll see what they do. And they do try to Dread Return. I will Fairy Macabre the Lotleth Giant and Momentary Blink. Another Stinkweed Imp, yep. Alright, so now all we need is a Lotus Petal or Vault of Whispers, and I think we probably win this. I'll attack. If they want to block, I'm fine with that. Because them blocking actually buys me a turn here. I would honestly take a Vault of Whispers as well. With another Lotleth Giant in the graveyard. Ooh, the Dread Return. Okay, that one gets me. Because the Vault of Whispers, I'm sorry, a Great Furnace, I keep on saying the wrong land name, would buy me 1 life versus the beatdown, but not versus the 4th Dread Return? Yeah, the 4th Dread Return. My top card was the Great Furnace. That would not have hit a Lotus Petal. Okay. We'll go to game 3. I don't know if I played that one correctly, but, you know, not the end of the world. We'll just try to win the next one. You could bring in the basic Swamp because it lives through all their Ancient Grudges. I don't know. I didn't end up doing it, but you could. This is fine. We'll keep. They kept as well. We'll play the Barrenmoor, pass. It's funny, looking back on that game, I think if I didn't try to mini combo, like if I didn't try to play out Stingers, with what my draw steps ended up being, I would have hit Cabal Ritual, Songs of the Damned, and then a couple draws later would have been Reaping the Grave. So I think if we had just, you know, played it cool, I might have won that. But maybe I got too greedy playing out the Stingers. I think here we have plenty of cyclers. I'll just play the Barrenmoor. Because if I draw into a Rowan's Grim Search, the Vault of Whispers would be immediately the card I bargain before it can be destroyed. They play a Holdout Settlement into Satyr Wayfinder. No lands, but they did mill over an Ancient Grudge. And step will cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands into another Vault of Whispers. We'll play out 1. Eat up some of their mana a little bit. They swing for 1, I'll go to 19. and a Town Greeter, Coffin Purge, Dread Return, and a Scrapwork Mutt. Okay. Another Holdout Settlement. We'll cycle Drannith Healer, cycle Monstrous Carabid, and another Monstrous Carabid. Plenty of creatures. We just need some mana now. Play the Vault of Whispers and pass. Looks like end step they're going to Coffin Purge one of my creatures. That's fine. Not the end of the world. They attack for 2. Ouch. And now they play a Malevolent Rumble. Another Ancient Grudge. Colony Garden, Forest, and then another Malevolent Rumble. So the Grudge and the Rumble they cannot take, but they can take a basic Forest, and that's what they do here. And now they cast an Ancient Grudge. I will cycle a Monstrous Carabid in response, and that happens. They now have another Forest, and they could flashback the other. I will cycle a Drannith Stinger. The Vault of Whispers has been destroyed. Cycle another Stinger. Cycle another Stinger. I would like a Songs of the Damned. Let's cycle on our main phase. I feel like this is a reasonable turn to try to win if we could hit some mana. Dark Ritual. Do I really want to try to go here? It seems super risky, but I would lose to a Bojuka Bog if they had it. And I feel like they're playing a build that digs for lands, so they probably have Bojuka Bog in there. I've seen a third of my library and have not hit a Cabal Ritual or Songs. I'm going to pass. I think I can't win off double Dark Ritual. And if they do have Bojuka Bog, I can burn Dark Ritual, Reaping the Graves to return 3 creatures. It's not amazing, but it's also not nothing. They unearth Scrapwork Mutt. Okay. Discards a Lotleth Giant. So they can Dread Return the Lotleth Giant this turn. They have 4 creatures in the graveyard. If they Dread Return, it would go up to 7. So that's not lethal. They play a land for turn, so no Bojuka Bog. Town Greeter. It's another Dread Return. They now have 6 in graveyard, so they could Dread Return the Lotleth Giant, putting 3 creatures to the graveyard. That would be 9 damage, putting me to 4. That happens. Okay, they decided to sacrifice the Scrapwork Mutt, so I took less damage. So I'm actually at 6. Oh, and I didn't count the 1 from the Lotleth Giant leaving the graveyard, so that was the other point of damage that was off. Are you thinking about another Dread Return here? What would you even return? A Generous End? Satyr Wayfinder, apparently. They hit another Lotleth Giant. So they have 2 Lotleth Giants in the graveyard. And on their end step, we will cycle Drannith Stinger into Monstrous Carabid. I mean, this is the turn I think we have to go. So I need some mana, desperately. Reaping the Graves was not it. Cycle the Monstrous Carabid. Cycle Horror of the Broken Lands. Come on, deck. Street Wraith puts me to 4. We'll cycle it. Great Furnace. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Tap the Great Furnace. We'll play Reaping the Graves. 3 mana floating. Street Wraith. Horror of the Broken Lands. So I have 3 looks here to potentially win this. Cycle Street Wraith. There we go. Songs of the Damned. Yes. Okay. Cycle. Not allowed to cycle Street Wraith currently. Cycle this Horror of the Broken Lands. We'll play Lotus Petal. Play the Blood Celebrant. Reaping the Graves. Target Horror of the Broken Lands. Healer. Stinger. 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 And the Street Wraith. I'll make a white and we'll play the Healer. I'll go to 1. We'll play Drannith Stinger. 6 black mana floating. Cycle Horror of the Broken Lands. This will bring me up to 2. At 2 life, I cannot cycle Street Wraith. You do need 3 life because you lose the life first. We'll play Dark Ritual. Cycle a Stinger. So now I'm allowed to cycle 1 Street Wraith. We hit another Songs of the Damned. I think that this game is over. Okay. I'm at 2. Cycle a Stinger. They're at 17. Play another Dark Ritual. Cycle another Drannith Stinger. I'll go to 3 and cycle a Street Wraith into Cabal Ritual. Cycle Street Wraith. Play out the Lotus Petal. Songs of the Damned. Reaping the Graves. This should return every creature in my graveyard. Our opponent says GG's, GG's to our opponent, and we're 2-0. Not so bad, but we also haven't seen a whole lot of graveyard hate yet. Let's see how we do in match number 3. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. For round number 3, we're on the play with Pauper Cycle Storm. Let's party. Great hand, we'll keep. I love playing this deck so much. I know that I talk about it in like pretty much every video I play, but I just think that like it's so intricate and you have so many micro decisions that really matter that it's super enjoyable to play. They play an island into Ponder. Could this be Mono Blue Terror? Alright, we'll draw. Great Furnace, pass the turn. They play an island. And step will cycle the Monstrous Carabid. While my opponent was in the middle of pondering, one of my monitors, I have 3 monitors plus the laptop screen, so 4 total. One of them went black, and then super loud thunder. So I don't know how much longer I'll be here recording, but I hope that I make it through the video, and that I don't accidentally like lose or match or anything. They mental note, and it does look like Mono Blue Terror. They get rid of double Delver of Secrets. They didn't tap out. If they had tapped out, I would have played the Rowan's Grim Search. So we'll just draw here. Drannith Stinger, play out the Great Furnace, and pass. I'm surprised that they wanted to get rid of double Delver of Secrets. Like, having a clock is usually pretty good. We'll cycle Drannith Stinger. Lotus Petal. Songs of the Damned. So I need more creatures and a Reaping the Graves. We have plenty of mana. Land number 5. They play Delver of Secrets now. 6 cards in hand. Reaping the Graves. So now I just need more creatures. Delver of Secrets. Does not transform. Land number 6. Still 6 cards in their hand. Ouch. Drannith Healer. We'll cycle that. I like drawing creatures. Monstrous Carabid. We'll cycle. Ideally this turn I would just draw creatures and then a land at the end. Cycle the Street Wraith. Healer. We'll cycle the Healer. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can like get a Spell Pierce or something out of their hand with this Dark Ritual. They just let it go. Alright, I'll just pass the turn. I was never going to try to win there, so I think that's okay. Delver Secrets triggers. Demon Inferior. They play land number 7. Is this a Tolarian Terror for 5 mana? No, it's a Lorien Revealed. Okay. So I believe we're going to do the thing where we put our opponent's life total to 0 on my turn. Big fan of that thing. Huge fan. Alright, Dark Ritual. Let's try Cabal Ritual with Threshold. Cycle the Drannith Stinger. Let's play Rowan's Grim Search. Sacrifice the tapped copy of Vault of Whispers. We'll take Reaping the Graves and Cabal Ritual. Play the Cabal Ritual. Play another copy of Cabal Ritual. Cycle the Imposing Vantasaur. This will be the 10th creature in our graveyard. Play the Vault of Whispers. Let's try Songs of the Damned. I have to imagine they're going to use a counterspell here. And they just let it go. Alright, opponent, if you think that's what this game is about, I am down to party this way. There's some people that I run into that are like, I'm just going to hold all of my counterspells for Drannith Stingers. How could they possibly win? Well, I'll show you. If that's what you believe works, I can show you why that's not a sound strategy. We have 22 mana floating. We'll play our first copy of Drannith Stinger. Oh no! I can't believe it. You counterspelled my Drannith Stinger. And now we cycle a whole lot. Okay, so let's get this party going. The Cardio Dinosaur, Imposing Vantasaur, big fan. Love working out. That part's actually not true, but I do ride a road bike in my basement. I have it on like a little triangle, and I ride my bike at night, and I bought a little bike desk, and I play Magic Online while I'm riding my bike. I do it like 3 or 4 nights a week. So sometimes I cycle storm while I cycle storm. Cycle the Monstrous Carabid. Cycle the Street Wraith. I go to 10, they're at 13. Let's play a Rowan's Grim Search here, why not? Sacrifice a Great Furnace. We'll take the Stinger and Horror of the Broken Lands. Sacrifice a Lotus Petal for a red. We'll play another Drannith Stinger. And now all of our cycles deal 2, so they'll end up at 11 here. We'll play another copy of Cabal Ritual. Slide up our graveyard just a hair, and now we'll play Reaping the Graves. Storm is 16, so this will return everyone. And our opponent concedes. Nice. Off to game number 2. Pyroblast comes in, so do the Chitin Gravestalkers. Goodbye, Rowan's Grimsearch, the Repository Scob, Blood Celebrant, 2 copies of Cabal Ritual, and 1 Imposing Vantasaur. Once again, if you're interested in the sideboard guide, go to theepicstorm.com/shop. We have a category specifically for sideboard guides. It's alphabetical, so Cycle Storm should be up high, and that's where you can get the guide for $5. It's not much, and it tells you how I sideboard in pretty much every viable Pauper matchup. This hand is so close! If we had a Vault of Whispers, I would keep this. Unfortunately, we have to send it back. This one's not bad. We'll keep him bottom of Reaping the Graves, so we know that the bottom card of our library is the 4th Reaping the Graves here. Turn 1 Ponder. We'll play the Barrenmoor, pass the turn. So what I would like to do is draw lands. And I know that, I only play 12 of them, but it's what I need here. So cycling no lands would be huge. Pyroblast is not bad. We'll cycle the Monstrous Carabid. Cycle the Street Wraith. There we go. Love it. So now there's 2 creatures in the graveyard for the Chitin Gravestalker. There's about to be 3 on the end step. They play a land. End step will cycle the Imposing Vantasaur. Horror of the Broken Lands was the draw. Songs of the Damned, that's not a bad one. Cycle the Horror. 4 creatures now in the graveyard. Let's cycle the Monstrous Carabid. That was an amazing draw. Pass. So next turn we could try to just double Chitin Gravestalker with Pyroblast backup. And if they do counterspell, we could theoretically try to mini combo into more Gravestalkers too. They have 6 cards in hand, 4 open mana. Let's play a Chitin Gravestalker here. That just resolves. I'll play another one. They both resolved. Let's party. They're probably just holding like Hydroblast and Dispels. And here Chitin Gravestalker just says like, I'm going to beat you to death. They play land number 5. Play the Barrenmoor. I am Bryant Cook. Don't you forget it. Swing. Nice Dispels. They Thought Scour. It's Brainstorm Ponder. Okay, so now they have enough in the graveyard to potentially play a creature to block. Land number 6. Cryptic Serpent. I will allow that to resolve. So if they counterspell my Rowan's Grimsearch on the end step, we can just Pyroblast their creature and kill them. They Spell Pierce. Oh no. Bummer. Okay, so they have 1 island. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Songs of the Damned. Reaping the Graves. Street Wraith and then the rest. Cycle the Street Wraith. We go to 16. Now down to 14. Cabal Ritual. Cycle the Monstrous Carabid. Horror of the Broken Lands. I think we're going to keep that one because I might play it out. Cycle the Vantasaur. Ooh, another Gravestalker. Cycle the Monstrous Carabid. Cycle the Drannith Stinger. Let's try the Cabal Ritual. Play the Chitin Gravestalker. Play the Horror of the Broken Lands. I'm pretty sure they have a Hydroblast in hand, but I couldn't find a way to force through this Pyroblast without it being countered. And they do in fact have the Red Elemental Blast. Same difference. We'll swing. So we get to trade creatures here. They'll take 5, and then I still have 3 creatures on the battlefield that can deal them lethal on my next turn. They have 4 cards in hand. Tolarian Terror. Tolarian Terror, okay. Cryptic Serpent, okay, we have a ball game. They have 1 card left. I need another cycling creature to make sure that my horror lives. We didn't draw it, so how do I have the guts to just send it? I think I'm supposed to wait on the Horror of the Broken Lands. Swing. Interesting. So that the fact that they're blocking with the Cryptic Serpent is actually good for me, because I would need more cyclers in order for the Horror of the Broken Lands to live. They hardcast a Lorien Revealed. They play a Delver of Secrets. Pyroblast. This seems like as good a time as any to try to resolve this. So we will kill the Tolarian Terror here and send it in. If they don't block, I can kill them. No blocks, we'll cycle. And that's just lethal. Sweet. That was an easy match. We are now 3-0. You're still watching. Make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. For round number 4, we're on the draw. I've opened up a hand with a Great Furnace with all black cards and no cyclers. This one is a mulligan. And this is a keep. We'll bottom the Lotus Petal. I try to remember what's on the bottom of my deck when I do mulligan, so that way like if I'm playing towards and out, I am not handicapping myself and I know what's there. Our opponent with a mulligan to 4. This might be the Spy deck. I'm not really sure. That or they have like a main deck, Nile Spellbomb or Bazooka Bog that they're just trying to find. And it is the Spy deck. Okay, well, they have the ability to search out their lands. And then they use a Sagu Wildling. Okay. So the fact that they were on the play this game, very good for them. They find a basic forest. We'll play the Vault of Whispers. I'm just going to be lazy and cycle this in my main phase. We'll pass the turn. They play the forest and then likely the Gate Creeper Vine here. And that's exactly what happens. They find the basic swamp. Songs of the Damned, a great draw. We'll cycle Monstrous Carabid and the healer. Everything's looking pretty good for me right now. So they could play the swamp into Axebane Guardian, and if they drew a spy, they could kill me next turn. So I'm like sort of like pressured to try to win here. We'll play the Great Furnace. Let's cycle the Imposing Vantasaur, Lotus Petal, cycle the Drannith Stinger, play the Dark Ritual, and I will Rowan's Grim Search. Ooh, that was not good. Alright, they all go to the graveyard. Am I supposed to risk it? If I pass and they kill me, it's going to feel bad. It's only Storm 4, 5 into Reaping the Graves, and I'd have 3 mana floating. It's not a ton. I'm going to pass. If they kill me, they kill me. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen. Quirion Ranger. Okay. So we know that they don't have it now. Wait, I thought their last card... Maybe I misunderstood. I thought their last card was another Sagu Wildling. Maybe I messed up with the land grant? So I could die from this Lead the Stampede if they hit a spy. Yeah, I might have thrown. And they did hit the spy, I'm dead. So it depends on if they're on 4 or 5 lands, I guess. I might not actually be dead. So they replay the land. And it looks like they are going to spy here. Hurts themselves. Wait, are you only on 3 lands? Wow. That's crazy. Our opponent's only playing 3 lands. Most builds play 4 or 5. This person's apparently on 3. Sure. I want to see what my next few draws would have been if it lets me. Magic Online is lagging real bad right now. Cabal Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Okay, if I had gone for it, we would have won. That's disappointing. Okay. So I guess it's my fault for being a coward and not going for it. We'll bring in the Fairy Macabres. And then the sideboard guide says 1 Rowan's and 1 Imposing Vantasaur. We'll try this. On the play. No, can't keep that. What is with these hands? We're going to 5. Sure. They kept 6. I think it's Reaping Lotus Petal. Like, I think we need the Rowan's Grim Search to fill up the graveyard. I have to hope that our opponent gets a little reckless here. And they just go for a fast win and then I can Fairy Macabre them. They have a Mirror Shell Crab. So they might be able to counterspell the Fairy Macabre. We'll cycle the healer. Carabid. Cycle the Monstrous Carabid. We have to pass. They play a land into Winding Way. Now they can discard the Lolith Giant from their hand because they have more than 7 cards. So that's actually good for them here. We drew a land, but it's not a black one. We have to pass. They play Quirion Ranger and the Sagu Wildling. I'm in trouble. We just have to pass here. Axebane Guardian. This Mirror Shell Crab is probably going to beat me if I don't draw mana. They swing. This is embarrassing. I have to pass. And they have the Mesmeric Fiend to check. Oh, brutal. I just have to let this go. What's sad is, like, this is actually a really good matchup, but I was too safe in game number 1. And then we mulligan to 5 into unplayableness here. They untap the Axebane Guardian. Yeah, they drew the Mesmeric Fiend if they are on 3 lands at the perfect time, because they got to check before playing Bellevue Street Spy here. So that was like a perfect draw step for the opponent. Yeah, they're only on 3 lands, which is wild. But they beat me. They're on 3 lands with no Lotus Petals. and that will deal me lethal. So it's unfortunate. I do think that this is a positive matchup. I really do. But our deck kind of just didn't cooperate. And, it happens. We are now 3-1. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? The final round of this Pauper League, we are on the play. Let's just get this win, finish with a strong 4-1. Keep this. I'm a little disappointed that the deck kind of just didn't work last round, because I know that people are going to watch this video and be like, oh, Spy is favored versus Cycle Storm. That's not the case at all. It's just, I gave my opponent a window in game number 1, and maybe I shouldn't have. And then in game number 2, our deck just kind of pooped the bed. And, there is some variance when you play combo, so I get it. It's just, it doesn't feel great. We'll cycle the Stinger. They could be playing Burn here. I'm not sure. Draw a Barrenmore. I think we play the Barrenmore and pass. And it is, in fact, Burn. I go to 17. They play a Synthesizer. Sure. Reveals a Goblin Tomb Raider. And they just conceded. They did not hit their land and decided that they had enough. Okay. We'll bring in the Dahada's Ploy. Board out one Rowan's Grim Search. So, I talked about it in the deck tech. I don't necessarily think you need 2 copies of Dahada's Ploy. Like, I actually really like Rowan's Grim Search, even against decks like Burn. And then some people like Siege Smash in this match because our opponent's deck could have Relic of Progenitus in it. I have found that that's a losing strategy, trying to answer the relics, so I'd rather just not do it. First turn Goblin Tomb Raider is their best open. Okay, we go to 18. Play the Vault of Whispers and we'll pass. They play a Rally, so a very aggressive open for the opponent here. I'll cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. Another Reaping the Graves. I go to 14. Play the Great Furnace, we'll pass the turn. We don't have enough creatures to really go here. So, I could cycle a healer, and then, even if I draw another creature, I'd start next turn with 3. This is not good for me. So this is an attack for 6. I'll be at 8. Very strong open for this opponent. Yikes. Okay. So even if I draw another creature, I'm not going to have the resources in order to win. So, your best draw here is actually a Rowan's Grim Search to potentially fill the graveyard and find more rituals, and we found it. So now we want to find, a Songs of the Damned and a Cabal Ritual while filling the graveyard with the Rowans. Play the Dark Ritual. And we'll play the Rowan's Grim Search. So ideally, you'd find, mana, and then put a couple creatures to the graveyard here. Sacrifice the Great Furnace. Triple Songs. Ah, that's a lot. Okay. I really wish we weren't putting the third... I want the Lotus Petal and the third song, so that hurts my feelings a little bit. Ah, brutal. Cycle the Monstrous Carabid. We'll play Songs of the Damned. Cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. I'd really like a Lotus Petal. The Ploy that I can't cast. We'll cycle Barrenmore. Songs of the Damned. That's not great. And Reaping the Graves. 3 mana floating. We need to hit some Cabal Rituals. My first draw here being Cabal Ritual would be very good. Nope. So now I need a Dark Ritual. Street Wraith brings me to 4. Brings me to 2. There's a Dark Ritual, so there's still a chance now. Cycle the Healer. Come on, Cabal Ritual. Lotus Petal. So I have a guaranteed Dahada's Ploy, but I'm at 2. So the question is, how much life am I actually gaining? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'd be at 9. And they have 6 on board. I don't think I'm allowed to stop here. I will cycle the Stinger. That was not a hit. Cycle the Stinger. I believe we have fizzled. Alright. So, I just don't think gaining 7 life is enough. I go up to 9 versus 6 on board damage versus a red deck. Stopping there, I think, is the coward's move. You have to play to win. Unfortunate. Milling over the third songs there was worst case scenario. But we're going to try to win game number 3 on the play. If this had a single land. Mulligan. Why are you doing this to me, Doc? Guess we're going to 5. keep, get rid of the Barrenmore. I think it has to be the Rowans. Play the Great Furnace, we'll pass the turn. And our opponent kept 7. Great Furnace, we'll Darren Epicure, we'll cycle the Drannith Healer, play the Vault of Whispers, pass. They play Mountain, Burning Tree Emissary. Yeah, here comes the rally. Yep. And it gives their Burning Tree Emissary haste. So we're taking 5 here on turn 2. I'm at 14. We'll cycle the Barrenmore. Cycle Imposing Vantasaur. Dark Ritual was the draw. I think I'm going to pass here. Like, you could try to shove. I just don't think that this is very likely to win. So they have 5 damage on board, which would put me to 9. I'm hoping that they just, like, play a card advantage spell this turn, like a Reckless Impulse or something. Land number 3. That's not good for me. Come on, play a Reckless Impulse. Well, Darren Epicure, this will put me to 13. And now they swing, so I'll go to 8. I'm dead if they have double Lightning Bolt in their hand. I'll cycle the Stray Wraith on the end step. I think I have to play into it based on what my hand is here. Lightning Bolt, Galvanic Blast. Yeah, it puts me to 1. That's not lethal. Oh no, they have the Metalcraft. My bad, I wasn't counting the Great Furnace. Okay, bummer. So we lose the Burn, which is a match that honestly I do lose a good amount of the time. Burn is not a favorable matchup for Cycle Storm. And the other loss was Spy. So I was hoping for a better finish, starting out 3-0, and then the wheels sort of fell off at the end. I don't think I'd change anything. I really wouldn't. I think that the deck is, even without the fairies were good in our match against Dredge, but the 60 is locked in for me. I really wouldn't change anything. People keep on asking for the updates, but I wouldn't change anything. Like, sometimes you lose the Burn. I know that some people are trying a main deck Tahada's play right now. I don't think that is an improvement over the Rowan's Grim Search. I think for Rowan's Grim Search is the correct way. You have Drannith Healers to gain life. And like Tahada's play is just like, as you saw in my game number 2 against Burn, it doesn't gain enough life a lot of the time, which is like this flawed idea that some people have that, oh, well, if you play Tahada's ploy, you'll gain so much life. You can gain a lot of life, but usually you're already winning when that happens. And we were sort of in a spot where we were kind of winning, but 7 life wasn't enough. So I am not sold that it's like this like savior card that some people believe it is. And against Spy, I think that it kind of just failed us. So bummer. 3-2s happen. Not the greatest league in the world, but hopefully you found something enjoyable or you learned something. Let me know in the comment section down below. And thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, keep storming. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. After you do that, open up our description where you can find all of our social media networks, including our Discord, where you can discuss today's deck in that Discord with me and tons of other combo masterminds. It's absolutely free to join, and it's certainly worth your while.